Welcome to Interpreting Nonverbal Communication. Every person has unique qualities that can affect the way they communicate nonverbally. Here are some of the things that can impact the way we communicate nonverbally: our roles, our culture, our neurotype, and our emotions and mood. We'll start with examples of how our role or title, all on their own, can impact others. The role itself of a healthcare professional or healthcare student can communicate different messages to their patient or client. For instance, the health professional role might send the message of being knowledgeable, trustworthy, or could stimulate anxiety. Because of this, it's important to be sensitive and be aware of the power that your role has on your nonverbal communication between you and others, especially in these roles as a healthcare professional or student with your patient or client, or as a student with your instructor. What does it feel like when someone stands over you who's in a position of power or authority? Be aware that when you stand above someone, such as when you need to stand above a patient's bed or wheelchair during patient care, it can also imply dominance, and the patient might feel as if they're smaller or in a weaker or more vulnerable position. Be aware that each culture and neurotype may have a different reason or interpretation of various displays of nonverbal communication that could mean total opposites to what you think it means. Such as in the US, eye contact indicates a degree of attention or interest or persuasion. It can also communicate emotion, define power, and status. Whereas in Japan or Africa, Latin American, or the Caribbean, they might avoid contact to show respect. Keep in mind that a person's age or generation might influence someone's display of nonverbal communication that might be totally different from their cultural background. A person's neurotype also impacts our nonverbal communication. And if this term is new to you, it describes someone who thinks and processes information in ways that are typical within their culture. What is neurodivergent? It describes people who process information and behave in a way that differs from the actual or perceived norms of a particular culture, such as autism. Emotions and mood. They can cause a mismatch between verbal and nonverbal communication. And sometimes what you say doesn't match your nonverbal expression. Here are some examples of how frustration or irritation, which is a low level of anger, can show up in your body. As you imagine being the healthcare professional in the following frustrating scenarios, notice any changes in your body, like posture, eye movement, etc. So imagine your patient, they refuse your request, or they refuse to take the meds that you're trying to give them, or the plan of care was suddenly changed again. Your words may not reveal your frustration, but your body might show how you really feel in those scenarios. Another example of when there might be a mismatch between someone's words and their emotion is when anxiety or fear are involved. This occurs when you perceive someone as angry when they are instead scared, or when someone else has misinterpreted your anxiety and fear as anger. Think of someone who you feel a little anxious when you're around them, and notice if your body displays any of these. These are called closed body communication, such as raised shoulders, and you can read down the list to see if any of that occurs in your body. How about these? Do you speak loudly? You get easily distracted when you're anxious? Does it become shallow, or do you hold your breath? Here are some other examples, like breathing faster, physically moving faster, communicating faster, or just carrying out tasks really fast and not paying attention. These can all be misinterpreted for something else. Being more aware of mismatches between emotions and what we say are also important, because people tend to trust what people do more than what they say. We often put more trust in nonverbal communication. The good news is that when your nonverbal signals match up with your words, they can increase trust, clarity, and rapport between our patients, instructors, and others.